Bitter criticism. We don't have our special geopolitical analysts. We don't have. We only have. I just take a few quick articles from Russia Today, as always, as usual. Today's it's kind of hot. I just released Milou because Milou I take Milou for a I took Milou for I take Milou for I take him for a recording day. I'm doing a short fiction film. Yeah, fictional film. With anything I have, I'm doing this film with Milou, which is a dog, and two sailors. One is a drunk. One is a drunk, a full-time drunk. In Viña, the only one. He is kind of charismatic. Well, I choose him because I asked him because he has a face as he looks like a god. I mean, these Olmec gods, you know, these Olmec heads. Do you know that Olmec's heads, like Afro heads? I guess he's not African. I guess he's not African, but maybe because of the sun, you know, the exposure to the sun without a filter. It's not my case. I put a filter before coming here. I lost my hat, but this drunk guy in Viña, the only one, he's kind of black. I guess just because of the long hours on the street. And well, I guess he's aesthetically he's a nice actor. He has a nice face for movies. That's my opinion. Maybe I love too much dirtiness, maybe. And well, I'm doing this short film. I will share it on Alexander Bruletova page, and that's it. So Milou got excited because of yesterday, because I take him to the bus, and he has a nice day, a very nice day. He went to the old house he was living in, Milou, and he was so happy yesterday. My problem with Tommy and Mursi is that they are too fat. They are too heavy. So I guess without a car, without a van, it's impossible to take them. No, it's not impossible, but it will take me 10 hours. It's not impossible, and there's no easy place over there. There are more dogs now. Anyway, but you know, there's a long trip, a long walk like that is so special for dogs. You know, dogs also have a memory. Milou remember all dogs they know in the last neighborhood, and that is so special for dogs too. You know, visit old places. What dogs really like, what dogs really love is to know new places and old places and far places. Dogs love places. That's the question of dogs. Anyway, so I just released because Milou, it was kind of stinky from yesterday and not from 2 days ago. So I just released him because he's already too stinky, and well, I don't mind. I will give a shower to him. I will give a shower myself too. Yay! Woo! I will give a shower to my drunk actor. What about that? You know, it's kind of I guess there's an ethical issue of filming with heavy drunk people because they like maybe they don't have this critical criticism. No, they don't have this bitter criticism. They don't have this. They lost their minds. That's the question. Maybe so they are exposed to people like me who want to film, who want a drunk character, not to make fun of them, but yeah, I guess in 2024 the world is the debate is ready for this. Yeah, maybe this polemic will help me to promote my movie. What about that? I will promote my movie on YouTube and I will say, oh, I will make a polemic myself. I will say, this guy, this bearded guy, wearing a thermic overall, he's abusing our drunks. What about that? He is abusing yeah, you got it, this fragile situation of drunks, and he's filming them. What about that? Let's see the movie. Yeah, let's see. You know, that's just what Woody Allen did for sure. But anyway, that's how I watch Woody Allen's movies. So propaganda works. March 30, 2024, Home Africa. British generosity. The UK is loaning back African gold installed. It is the best it can do. How did crowd jewels from Ghana end up in London, where they needed to be to follow their obsession with the music scene? What about that? And is there any way to bring them back home? By David Okpatuma. Okpatuma sounds African, yeah, or Japanese. You, the international development specialist. Oh, there's Milou, the actor. Oh, the great actor. How are you, great actor? You, the international development specialist, co-founder of Development and Cooperation for Africa, DevCA, Initiative Nigeria. Yo, this guy, so Debbie Okpatuma is Nigerian, just like Antetokounmpo. Crazy names, isn't it? Funny names. Okpatuma, Antetokounmpo. Sounds great. British generosity. The UK is loaning back African gold installed. Is it the best it can do? We have a photograph from the trustees of the British Museum. At the end of January, the British Museum and Victoria and Albert V&A Museum announced that more than 30 Ascent crown jewels, gold artifact that once belonged to the royals of Asante or Ashanti in modern-day Ghana, will be brought to the Ghanaian city of Kumasi in April. This, however, is only a loan deal between the UK museums and the Ghanaian Manila Palace Museum. British laws ban museums from permanently returning contested artifacts to their original owners, which means that despite the announced repatriation, the golden items illegally extracted some 150 years ago will only be temporarily placed in Ghana. Will they ever be returned for good? Historical artifacts aptly depict the culture of a people, given the waning influence of African traditional institutions, largely eroded by westernization and cultural importation. Societal narratives find resonance when historical events and souvenirs are relied upon. When discussing the legacy of culture, tracing back to a time of overpowering community influence on legal, religious, and nuptial relationships, these artifacts lend credence to the veracity of handed down stories. Despite fluctuations in the gold trade over the years, Africa's role as a significant player in the gold market is firmly established. In 2022, a cohort consisting of Switzerland, the UK, US, Hong Kong, and the United Arab Emirates accounted for about 60.6% of global gold sales. However, Africa still holds over 40% of the world's gold reserves. This reality underscores the enduring importance of the continent in the gold industry. Central to this narrative is the story of the Ashanti gold. The Ashanti region, formerly known as Asante, holds historical significance for its involvement in the transatlantic slave trade during the 19th century. Despite this dark past, it was also renowned for its exquisite gold and brass craftsmanship, as well as its production of kente, a brightly colored woven cloth. That sounds great, kente, a brightly colored woven cloth. These contributions to the global trade market earned the region, which later became part of Ghana, the moniker Gold Coast. It was an easily targeted spot for slave traders and gold grabbers who covertly masqueraded as traders. Therefore, it features prominently in the African historical narrative of capital and human exploitation by Europeans. Dr. Judith Spigley, a historian at the Wilberforce Institute for the Study of Slavery and Emancipation, WISE, at the University of Hull, in her seminal article Pawns on the Gold Coast, describes how early in the trade relationship Europeans took gold pawns as security for debt. However, as unorthodox rules for slave operations weakened and the lust for more gold overshadowed the emergent supply, Europeans turned increasingly toward the use of human pawns. This is not different from other exploitative processes that led to the loss of precious resources on the continent. Well, I don't care much about this article. I just gonna skip. You know, there's a whole article I want to read. This is about Yugoslavia. I wonder where it is. There was an article about Yugoslavia. A huge article. I guess I will have to find the article again. Well, the question is, I have a lot of news I didn't read. Maybe 3 days ago, yeah. 3 days ago. And we have another news. I will read this meanwhile from March 23, like 8 days ago. This is from Dimitri Training. I skipped this news once, like 3 days ago, but now I guess it's interesting because it's kind of warlike. There is a war subject, home Russia and former Soviet Union. Dmitry Trenin, it's time for Russia to give the West a nuclear reminder. Washington is waging a proxy war in a bid to complete a strategic defeat of Moscow. And a tougher response to this is needed. Dmitry Trenin, by Dmitry Trenin, a research professor at the Higher School of Economics and a lead research fellow at the Institute of World Economy and International Relations. He is also a member of the Russian International Affairs Council, RIEAC. Anyway, Dmitry Trenin, it's time for Russia to give the West a nuclear reminder. Nuclear weapons of Russia, soldiers of Russia, this is the photograph of Russian military forces standing on background of strategic missile system YARS. Strategic stability is usually understood as the absence of incentives for a nuclear armed power to launch a massive first strike. Typically is viewed primarily in militarily technical terms. The reason why an attack may be contemplated are usually not taken into account. This idea emerged in the middle of the last century when the USSR had achieved military strategic parity with the US, and the Cold War between them had entered a major phase of limited confrontation and some predictability. The solution to the problem of strategic stability was then seen in the constant maintenance of contacts between the political leadership of the two superpowers, which led to arms control and transparency in arranging their respective arsenals. You know, people say that I was listening to some podcasts and they say the USSR was a powerhouse in sports. It was a superpower in sports. And well, right here in Chile, you cannot do zero sports. You can do nothing. So I guess USSR was so much better than Chile. The third world, yeah. This idea emerged in the middle of the last century when the USSR had achieved military strategic parity with the US and the Cold War between I just read that. However, the first quarter of the 21st century is ending in conditions very different from the relative international political stability of the 1970s. The US-centric world order established after the end of the Cold War is being seriously challenged, and its foundations are visibly shaken. The global hegemony of Washington and the position of the collective West as a whole is weakening, while the economic, military, scientific, and technological might and political importance of non-Western countries, first and foremost China, but also India, are growing. What a vast sentence, a large sentence over there. This is leading to a deterioration in relationships between the US and other power centers. The two largest nuclear powers, Russia and the US, are in a state of semi-direct armed conflict. This confrontation is officially regarded in Russia as an existential threat. This situation has become possible as a result of the failure of strategic deterrence in its geopolitical dimension. In an area where Russia's vital interests are present, it should be noted that the main cause of the conflict is Washington's conscious disregard for 3 decades now of Moscow's clearly and explicitly expressed security interests. Moreover, in the Ukrainian conflict, the US military and political leadership has not only articulated but has publicly expressed the mission of using its proxy to inflict a strategic military defeat on Russia, despite its nuclear status. This is a complex undertaking in which the collective economic, political, military, technical, intelligence, and informational capacity of the West is integrated with the actions of the Ukrainian armed forces in direct combat against the Russian army. In other words, the US is trying to defeat Russia not only without using nuclear weapons, but even without formally engaging in hostilities. In this context, the declaration by the five nuclear powers on January 3rd, 2022, that nuclear war should not be waged, and that there can be no winners. No winners but the global south. Yay! Isn't it, Milu? No winners but Brazil. Yeah, Brazil will win. No winners but Chile. Hey, Chile, superpower. Woo! I'll stop drinking because of this. I want to win the war. I want to see this global south victory. So yeah, kill yourself. Kill yourself, global north. I feel sorry about Russia. Only Russia. I just feel sorry about Russia. And some friends from the United States, I guess. And the hot babies, the hot girls, yeah. The hot women. I feel sorry about the hot women. Came with me here. The last time I was talking about anal sex, but that was only a joke. This is a desire, a dark desire every man has, but I can just fantasize about it and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with this fantasy, you know? Intelligence and informational capacity of the West is integrated with the actions of the Ukrainian armed forces in direct combat against the Russian army. In other words, the US is trying to defeat Russia not only without using nuclear weapons, but even without formally engaging in hostilities. In this context, yeah. Well, I will just skip again this news. Not a great article. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find the Yugoslavia article. I will. And well, it's time for a general recycle. I have like 300 articles I didn't read. And I have a lot of shit like this, look, a lot of bullshit. But well, this is from CNBC. I have CNBC articles, I have Harvard Review articles, all kind of articles I have, but I'm not reading because I want to read the Yugoslavia article. Look, psychology and relationships. Psychology experts, the number one tool we teach to save any relationship from disaster. What the hell? Dr. Pepper something. This is from Harvard or CNBC. I want to read the Yugoslavia article. It was a huge article from Russia Today. It's hard to find because I'm using the notepad. Maybe I have to install maybe I have to convert all this into PDF. I guess I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take these articles, I'm gonna turn them into PDFs. So 4 days ago. So PDFs is easier because you can just type Yugoslavia and you will find the news just like that. Yeah, March 24, 7 days ago. March 24, 2024, Home World News. Ruins of Yugoslavia. How Russia learned that nature poses a threat. The US led military bloc's illegal strike on Belgrade in the spring of 1999. Not Prince, not the Prince song. This is not a song of Prince. Forever changed relationships between the US and Moscow. Ruins of Yugoslavia, how Russia learned that nature poses a threat. We have a file photo building ablaze after the nature bombing on April 2nd, 1999. Belgrade, Yugoslavia. On March 24, 1999, student Elena Milinsek was at home with her sister and a friend in Belgrade. Suddenly, the quiet evening was interrupted by an air raid siren. The girls quickly hid under a table. It wasn't the safest place, but they had gotten lucky. Their part of the city wasn't attacked. Over the next 77 days, these girls and other Belgrade residents became better at hiding from the bombs which threatened to kill them every day. The raids were part of NATO's military operation against Yugoslavia, a campaign that shook up the world order, and not just in the Balkans. Predictions for bloodshed. The Kosovo problem goes back many centuries. Located in the southwest of Serbia, on the border with Albania, the Kosovo region was historically inhabited by two Balkan peoples, Serbs and Albanians. The Serbs consider the region a major part of the country's history and culture. However, Albanians have also lived there for centuries. By the mid-19th century, there were about as many Albanians as Serbs in Kosovo. Ethnic strife was a common problem in the Balkans, retaining their particular cultural characteristics. Serbs, Albanians, Croats, Gypsies, and Muslim Serbs, and Mursi. No, Mursi, don't go there. And Muslim Serbs lived side by side for centuries. Conflicts between them nonetheless resulted in brutal massacres. Yeah, I know that the Balkans are a very prone region for violence, you know? If you see the history of the Balkans, you will see a lot of violent massacres, like people killing in squares, killed alive, taking parts of their body, you know, a lot of torture. So these people are crazy, or these people are violent, and they are good players of basketball too. Deadly Moscow terror. No, this no. During World War II, the Balkans were occupied by Germany and Italy, and a brutal regime was established in Kosovo. Serbs were expelled from the region and many were killed. After the war, Josip Broz Tito came to power in Yugoslavia and put more wood on the fire. He did not allow Serbian refugees to return to the region and wanted to use Kosovo to pressure Albania. He hoped that the region would become a bridge between two countries. However, the plan fell through, and the area continued to become more Albanian. By the time Yugoslavia collapsed, Kosovo population consisted of about 75%. consisted of about 75% Albanians and 20% Serbs. The rest were Gypsies and other minorities. Many Albanian nationalist organizations emerged in the 1980s. At first, they committed minor offenses against the Serbian population, like arson, beatings, threats, graffiti, and so on. However, from the 90s, Kosovo undertook active attempts to break away from Yugoslavia, and Kosovo Albanians gravitated towards Albania. During Tito's rule, 1945 to 80, the region's nationalist intelligentsia considerably increased in number and laid the ideological grounds for secession projects. Ibrahim Rugova became a prominent Kosovo-Albanian leader. He graduated from University of Pristina, which was established under Yugoslavia and became headquarters of nationalist-minded Kosovo-Albanian intellectuals. Rugova himself didn't advocate political violence but became the face of a movement that eventually turned radical and violent. In 1991, Kosovo held an independence referendum and presidential elections. Yugoslavia did not recognize the new state, but factually, the region had broken away. In 1996, an army was formed called the Kosovo Liberation Army, KLA, which launched a full-fledged guerrilla terrorist war against the Serbs. By 1998, Belgrade realized that it had lost control over the situation and launched a military operation against Kosovo. Yeah, so I say this is a pretty large article. I'm just gonna come back for. I just will come back to Chinese articles. Chinese articles from 2 days ago. So goodbye Yugoslavia. So it's too large, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'm weak. This is a weak journalism. If you are Yugoslavia philo, a widow of Yugoslavia like me, you can find this article in Russia Today. So I'm gonna try to find the Chinese news. Chinese news, where are you? China's top legislator meets dignitaries from Kazakhstan, Cambodia, Russia in Boao. This is from politics, CGTN. Yes, Chinese people, they are better. They made this communist revolution still ongoing. Yeah, long life to Mao and communism revolutions. China's top legislator Zhao Legi on Thursday met separately with Kazakh President Kazim Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. Samdech Teko Hun Sen, President of the Supreme Privy Council of the King of Cambodia, and Russia Deputy Prime Minister Alexei Overshuk in Boao, South China's island province of Hainan. Yeah, I love Hainan. I want to live in Hainan right away, right now. I'm gonna be a fisherman. The guests are here to attend the Boao Forum for Asia Annual Conference 2024, which concluded on Friday. Then meeting with Tokayev, Shao chairman of the National People's Congress, NPC Standing Committee, said that China-Kazakhstan relations have entered a new golden 30 years. China-Kazakhstan relations, yeah. Adding that building a China-Kazakhstan community with a shared future was a strategic decision made by the two heads of state and a fundamental guideline for the future development of bilateral relations. The two sides should implement the important consensus reached by the two heads of state, firmly support each other, deepen cooperation in key areas, promote closer people-to-people ties, and strengthen strategic coordination so that the two countries can achieve the strategic goal of common development and prosperity shall set. China's MPC is willing to strengthen exchanges and cooperation with the Kazakh parliament at various levels and in various forms, deepen exchanges in governance and provide legal guarantees for practical bilateral cooperation, he added. Well, this is kind of institutional news, so it's not that interesting. So I'm gonna jump to the next GTN news. Experts laud positive signal after his warn become the U.S. CEOs. This is from politics. Politicians, experts, and scholars spoke highly of the positive message delivered after Chinese President Xi Jinping's meeting with a group of top American business leaders in Beijing recently, where she doubled down of efforts towards further opening up. He welcomed the U.S. delegation, consisting of elite American representatives from business, strategic, and academic communities, on Wednesday, expressing confidence in China's economic growth through advancing high-quality development and Chinese modernization. Stephen Schwarzman, chairman and CEO of Blackstone Group, was at the meeting. The Chinese economy is sound and sustainable, he told the delegation, elaborating on the slew of measures the world's number 2 economy has put forth. The global of a world-class business environment, while slamming predictions of the China collapse theory. Beijing recently eased restrictions on foreign investment. The country pledged to facilitate data flow at lower costs for foreign financial institutions and deliver national treatment for foreign businesses. Experts said Xi's warm welcome this time is another great impetus for foreign businesses. Quote, indeed, the Chinese government wants to encourage American companies to expand in the China market. That is welcome information for American executives, and I think that follows on the very positive meeting that President Xi had last November in San Francisco, when he met with many of the same executives. Amy Selico, former senior director for China Affairs at the office of the U.S. Trade Representative, told CGTN in a review. Last November, he flew to San Francisco for a meeting with his counterpart Joe Biden, and the 13th APEC economic leaders meeting. Optimism gradually grew after the duo's meeting. Beijing and Washington have reestablished communication and maintained frequent interactions across various sectors in the following month. Data from China's Ministry of Commerce shows that in 2023 China's actual use of foreign investment reached $163.3 billion, down from a peak in 2022, but still a third highest annual level ever. For American businesses, the commitment to China and the deep engagement with the Chinese market has remained unchanged over the past 2 or 3 years. Joseph Luke Ney, chairman of Greater China and global consulting firm McKinsey & Company, was quoted by the Global Times as saying that at the recently concluded China Development Forum, CDF, at the Friday Consulted Forum, China made it clear once again that it will further optimize its business environment and that the doors will never close. Openness is the hallmark of contemporary China. I just missed one sentence. China's door to the world will never close, but will only open wider. China's top legislator Xiao Leji in his keynote speech at the forum. You've got the legal and regulatory framework where that's definitely improved, commented Jeremy Hisilute, Vice President of Springs capital, Beijing, in an interview to CGTN at the Boao Forum for Asia. Yeah. So, well done, China. Well, I have 2 things to comment here. I guess this is bad news for Russia, I guess. Because in the beginning of the conflict of Russia, I'm just gonna read the last sentence, the last paragraph here. In terms, well, that's it. In terms, this quote, in terms of whether it's dividends or buybacks, or just in terms of some of the government structures, I think that's very positive for capital markets. In general, it's something that resonates very strongly with some of the international investors that are out there, as they said. Well, in the beginning of the conflict with Russia, Europe leaders and I guess Europe leaders, they say the future of China is with Europe. But what's happening now is that American businessmen and China are getting closer. They will make Miami in Hainan, which I don't think is great, but who knows? Maybe it's great. I want to play the Miami song, but from Will Smith, but you can just imagine it. I guess I will put another song. I will record this. I will make a cover of this song right here. Look. And I will do my yoga. Yeah, I will do my yoga now. If there's time, I don't know if there's time or not. I guess there's time. Time for yoga. Trying to survive. Well, yeah, so maybe the future of Russia is not that great, because maybe China will abandon Russia. I have zero idea. Oh, well, now it's time to free the dogs. Time to free the dogs. Look, the Luna is here. I found a lot of bones in my freezer, but those bones over there, they are rotten. Don't kill no one this time, Tommy. Hi, Tommy. Hey, don't kill anybody. Ay. La puta mierda también. So yeah, make me rich, boys. Make me rich. Do something, Mursi. Do your thing. Well, no, I'm happy about it. I don't hate Americans, you know. You probably can understand that because of the language I'm speaking right now. I'm just a regular Chilean, poor Chilean with. I prefer to say I'm Italian because Italy is better. So yeah, great future for Hainan. Hainan will be great. If I win lottery, I will go to Hainan right away.